Hello everyone, and let's begin part 2 of A Short Monsoon Diary written by Ruskin Bond from your book Honeydew. Well, this part is a continuation of part 1 that we read in the last session. In the last session, we read about the incidents or the feelings or the experiences which Ruskin Bond had from June 24th till June 27th. Now we move ahead. In this session, I'm going to read and explain part 2 to you, at the end of which we will do comprehension check questions, the textbook question answers, and the other exercises. So without wasting much time, let's jump in and start reading part 2 of this chapter. All night the rain had been drumming. Drumming means falling noisily on the corrugated tin roof. Corrugated is shaped like parallel folds. There has been no storm, no thunder, just the steady swish of a tropical downpour. Swish means move with a rushing sound, and downpour means heavy rainfall. It helps me to lie awake. At the same time, it doesn't keep me from sleeping. It is a good sound to read by, the rain outside, the quiet within. And although tin roofs are given to springing unaccountable leaks, unaccountable means unexplainable. There is a feeling of being untouched by and yet in touch with the rain. On 2nd of August, the author wrote that whole night it had been raining, and the noise of rain which was falling on the roof was also very heavy. There was no storm, there was no thunder, but there was a continuous heavy rainfall. Now, this noise of rainfall was keeping him awake, but at the same time, this musical sound of the rainfall on the tin roof was also putting him to sleep or making him fall asleep. The author thought that the sound of the rainfall was a good sound when you can read a book. There was rain outside, there was noise of the rain outside the house, but inside the house there was silence. And although these tin roofs are prone to leakages, but there were two feelings which were going parallelly inside the author's heart. One was feeling of being untouched by the actual raindrops, which means one was that he was not touched by the rainwater because the roof wasn't leaking. But still, he was in touch with the rain. In other words, still he was connected with the rain. 3rd August, the rain stops. The clouds begin to break up. The sun strikes the hill on my left. A woman is chopping up sticks. I hear the tinkle of cowbells. Tinkle is a light ringing sound, and cowbells are the bell hung around a cow's neck. In the oak tree, a crow shakes the raindrops from his feathers and caws disconsolately. Disconsolately means unhappily. Water drips from a leaking drain pipe. And suddenly, clean and pure, the song of the whistling thrush. Thrush is a small brown songbird. Emerges like a dark, sweet secret from the depths of the ravine. Ravine is a valley. After the whole night rainfall on 2nd of August, on 3rd August the rain stopped, and then the dark clouds started to separate from each other, and the sun was shining on the left of the hill. There was a woman who was chopping up sticks, and the author could hear the sweet ringing sound of the cowbells. And on the oak tree there was a crow which shook the raindrops which were there on his feathers, and he started to sound unhappily. The waters were dripping from drain pipe, and suddenly there was this little bird thrush which emerged from the valley and started to sing or whistle. August 12th. Endless rain and a permanent mist. We haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. Everything damp and soggy. Soggy means wet. Nowhere to go. Pace the room. Pace means walk through. Look out of the window at a few bobbing umbrellas. At least it isn't cold rain. The hillsides are lush as late monsoon flowers begin to appear. Wild balsam, dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids. Now, from 3rd of August till 12th of August, there had been continuous rain, which created a permanent fog in the air. And because of these 8-9 days of continuous rain, there was no sunshine and everything had become wet. So people could not go outside. They only could move inside their room, and out of their window they could see some umbrellas opened up of people who were walking on the roads. But at least it wasn't cold rain. And the hillsides were full of late monsoon flowers like wild balsam, dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids. These were the type of flowers which had bloomed on the hillsides and made the mountains look very beautiful and colorful. August 31st. It is the last day of August and lush monsoon growth has reached its peak. The seeds of the cobra lily are turning red, signifying that the rains are coming to an end. In a few days, the ferns will start turning yellow, but right now they are still firm, green, and upright. Ground orchids, mauve lady slipper, and white butterfly orchids put on a fashion display on the grassy slopes of Landor. Ground orchids, mauve lady slippers, and white butterfly orchids are the names of the flowers which had bloomed on the hills. Landor is a twin town of Mussoorie in Uttarakhand since British era. Wild dahlias, red, yellow and magenta, rear their heads from the rocky crevices where they have taken hold. Crevices are narrow openings or cracks in rock or wall. As on 31st of August, the monsoon growth or the monsoon plants had reached its peak. Now more and more flowers were blooming. The cobra lily seeds were turning into red and they were indicating that now the rains are coming to an end. And in a few days, the ferns which were right now very green and erect and upright will now slowly turn into yellow color. Then there were more flowers like ground orchids, mauve lady slipper and white butterfly orchids which had bloomed on the slopes of this place called Landor. And there were wild dahlias which were red, yellow and magenta in color. They had bloomed from the narrow openings of the rocks. Snakes and rodents flooded out of their holes and burrows take shelter in roofs, attics. Attic is a loft and go downs. Shrew. Shrew is an insectivorous mammal resembling a mouse. Weak of eyesight, blunders about the room much to the amusement of the children. Don't kill it, admonishes their grandmother. Admonishes means warns. Chuchandars are lucky, they bring money. And sure enough, I receive a check in the mail. Not a very large one, but welcome all the same. Now, due to the rainfall, the holes or burrows of snakes and rodents like mouse or shrew, everything were flooded with rainwater, and therefore all these had taken shelter. They had come to stay in roofs or lofts or go downs of the houses. And there was this animal shrew whose eyesight is very weak, but it roams around in the room like a mouse, and it was entertaining the children. When the children were trying to kill it, just then the grandmother warned them that chuchundas are lucky and they bring money. Shrew is also called as chuchundar in Hindi. After listening to this, the author realized that he actually received a check in his mail. Now, this check was not of a large amount, though it was of small amount, yet he got some money, and he considered that actually chuchundars bring money. They are lucky. October 3rd, we have gone straight from monsoon into winter rain, snow at higher altitudes. After an evening hailstorm, the sky and hills are suffused. Suffused means full of, with a beautiful golden light. On 3rd of October, the author felt that straight from monsoon rain, the winter rain had taken over. And now, during winter time, the rain was getting frozen into snow and it was falling on the peak of the mountains. There, in the evening, there was a hailstorm also, but the sky and hills were full of this beautiful golden light which the sun was giving out. January 26th, winter reigns in the hills. In the hushed silence of the house, when I am quite alone, and my friend who was here has gone, it is very lonely, very quiet. As I sit in a liquid silence, a silence within, surrounded by the rhythm of rain to the steady drift of water on leaves, on lemons, on roof, drumming on drenched dahlias and window panes, while the mist holds the house in a dark caress. As I pause near a window, the rain stops and starts again, and the trees, no longer green but grey, menace me with their loneliness. On 26th of January, the author wrote a poem which was titled Winter Rains in the Hills. This poem describes the very feeling which the author gets when he is inside the house and outside it is raining. There was silence inside the house. His friend who had come to meet him had left, and there was quiet and liquid silence within. But outside the house, it was raining, and he was surrounded by the melodious rhythm of the rain. The rainwater was falling on leaves, on lemons, on roof, also on dahlias and window panes. And there was thick fog outside the house, and this fog was holding lovingly the author's house and making it dark. And when the author went near the window and he stopped there, the rain also stopped and started again. And he could see the trees which were around him. They were no longer green because it was winter season. They were grey, but the look of the trees were threatening him that he was again lonely. March 23rd, late March, end of winter. The blackest cloud I have ever seen squatted over Mussoorie. Squatted means sat with knees bent. And then it hailed marbles. Hailed marbles means there was hailstorm for half an hour. Nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky. Even as I write, I see a rainbow forming. March 23rd is the last day's entry which is given in this chapter. And the author here expresses that it was late March and it was almost end of winter. But there was a black cloud which had surrounded the entire Mussoorie, and that black cloud had caused hailstorm for at least half an hour. But after that hailstorm stopped, the sky had become clear. And as the author was writing this diary entry, he could see a beautiful rainbow forming in the sky. So as we finish this chapter, we realize that in part 2, the author has spoken from August 2nd till March 23rd. And by the end of March, it was the end of winter season 2, and again the next cycle of seasons follow. In this part, the author Ruskin Bond has very vividly described the type of flowers he could see blooming on the hillsides, the kind of birds he could see chirping, the rodents, the snakes, the other animals which had come out in the nature and were intermingling with the nature's beauty. So at the end of explanation, what moral do we get or do we find here? It's simple. Moral is take care of the nature. Nature is beautiful. It is miraculous. It can create magic which even the human hands cannot do. All the beautiful things in the nature is natural and can never match the human made things ever in our life. So let's save this nature. Let's give importance to this nature which it deserves. And let's enjoy the nature as much as we can. That's all in the reading and explanation part of this chapter. Now let's move on to the question answers and the textbook exercises of this. The answers are flashed in front of your screen. You can pause them, note the answers down, or read them through. So here I come to the end of this video today, and I'll come up with a new topic in my next video. Till then, take good care of yourself and the nature also. Thank you and goodbye.